it wasn't good. I was hoping for the best, but the doctor gave me the news. He told me immediately. He said, you definitely need to be immediately scheduled for surgery. And so I'm thinking maybe, they're going to say, in 2 weeks you go in for surgery. You see how it works out. No. He scheduled me. This happened on Memorial Day. He scheduled me on the same week, that Thursday, okay, for surgery. So from a Monday to Thursday, I was scheduled for surgery. So prepping, surgery, getting ready, going to see the doctor, everything. Surgery. 150 staples on the outside of my my leg. My quadricep muscle in a mesh sleeve, and rods and pins and everything else going through my new patella, my new kneecap, and then attaching my patella tendon to my shin. Oh, crazy. Crazy surgery, right? Crazy surgery. And so my first visit back to the doctor, on my crutches, could barely walk. My question to my doctor was, when can I return to work? When can I return to work? And the doctor was like, I think you're done. I think you're done with work, and I don't think that you should be returning to work with that type of injury. Someone of your age, and that's what he used, someone of your age can't continue on in law enforcement, right? And the physical demands that you have at your job with this type of injury, and you'll be on crutches, probably a cane for at least a couple of years, and you're probably not going to make the recovery that you think you're going to make. So I said, Doc, you don't get it. Not only do I need to return to work because I'm retiring next year, right? I also have been training for a marathon that I plan on running next year when I retire. So the doctor looked at me and he laughed and he said, well, we'll see. We'll see. Let's get you in physical therapy and we'll see how it goes. And he told me basically, never again will I be running marathons, and never again will I be returning to work. So that was probably my initial motivation, right? And so I'm thinking about this, and I've talked to my friends about it, and my friends, my circle of influence, they all told me, they gave me their opinions. You know, people always give you their opinion. They was like, hey, Sal, you have nothing to prove. You have done it all, man. Just wrap it up, retire, chill out, take it down, get in your rocking chair, rock it back. You done, you accomplished it, you did it all. And that was the opinion from my circle of influence. And I think that also pissed me off, right? Because in my head, I felt that they gave up on me. You know, my circle of influence gave up on me, and the doctor was certain that someone of my age would never recover, okay, from this type of injury. So there I was, and that was my initial motivation, right? That was my motivation to get me started and to piss off the guy in physical therapy. I basically told him, as he's doing ginger and being all careful with me, I told him, I said, listen, I could do this at home. Okay, I don't need to come here and see you to get better, okay, for you to stretch out my physical therapy for the next year. And so I pissed him off, which was a motivator for him, and he made me cry every session. But as he made me cry every session, and I pushed myself even further, was able to take on more pain, was able to endure more physical therapy, and then I began training at home on my own. I mean, basically, I outlasted physical therapists and began to work on my own to get better, to start to train, to get back to work. And it was an exciting time, but at the same time, guys, my motivation faded because the pain was severe, right? The voices got louder and louder in my head as the pain increased in my leg. And my belief in myself started to fade because I thought that maybe the doctor was right. Maybe he knew me better than I knew myself. Maybe he knew that this type of injury would finish me. So that is the thoughts that were going in my head, guys, right? Motivation was no longer in the picture. It was gone, guys. Motivation started me on that journey, but it was me being consistent, me pushing myself, me having extremely, extremely strong why. And my why was I needed to prove everybody wrong. You know, your why can be as simple as you want to prove people wrong, guys. Okay? And maybe somebody got up under your skin so much, right, that you just want to tell them to go to hell. All right? Go to hell. All right? I'm going to get this done no matter what you think of me. No matter who you think I am, I'm going to show you I'm somebody different. And so that is not motivation, guys. That is just to get you started, right? And it is those consistent steps that you take, right? And being consistent in everything that you do, because you know the steps. I was a personal trainer for over 20 years, so I knew what I needed to do to get right. And I knew that I needed to get back to a level where I can begin to train for my marathon again, guys. And so that's what I did. That's what I did. I pushed myself, and I remember the day that I walked into the doctor's office and I told him, I need to go back to work now. I need to go back to work now, and I need to continue my training. And the doctor told me, he said, well, if you can take off this brace off your leg and walk all the way across the room to me, then I will send you back to work. I will sign the papers and send you back to work. And I remember the day I did it. I was terrified. I was terrified. He literally took the brace and he sat it on the table on the side, and he told me to walk across the room. And I walked across the room to the doctor. As terrified as I was, right? Motivation had nothing to do with it. I just knew what I needed to do. I knew it was necessary. And I did it, and I was able to walk across the room, guys. And if any of you have ever had a knee replacement, major knee injuries, guys, you know the fear you have just putting one foot down in front of the other. And I did that, and the doctor signed my papers, and he sent me back to work. And I knew that that was the first stage of me completing my journey to running my marathon. So there I was, guys. I was going back to work. I was going back to work, and not only, right, was I going back to work, I knew that once I got back to work, as a regular basis, steady, I can now train freely, okay, for my marathon. And so I had to be careful, but I still was training for it. And so I want you guys to know that I did run my marathon, and I completed it. It wasn't in the time that I wanted, and I did a whole lot more walking than I would have wanted, but it was something that I pushed myself to do by just knowing what I needed to do and being consistent and looking at the journey that I needed to take, and taking the path and the steps in order to get better and push myself to run that marathon. It had nothing to do with motivation. Motivation was not the key to my success, guys. The key to my success was what happens after motivation. And that is what I want to talk to you guys about. What happens after motivation has faded? What do you guys have in the tank, as my coach used to say? What do you have in the tank after that adrenaline has faded, guys? And the lesson I learned was this, right? If you want to be successful, you are going to have to fire yourself up, right? You're going to have to get yourself excited, right? Nobody around you is going to be there beyond that first stage of you getting going, right? You're going to have your